to next year's third grade GALES class. My name is Mrs. Jones. I'm the gifted coordinator here at Lancaster City Schools. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. We're hoping for a little bit more normal of a school year next year, and we're excited to welcome our new third grade GALES students to Medaille Elementary. Ideally, we will be able to meet face-to-face in fall for Medaille's open house to start the school year. We'll see how that goes. So we're just going to begin with a little tour of the building, and I'm going to share my screen. The video.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Woods, principal at Medaille.
Hi, I'm Mr. Thomas, assistant principal at Medaille.
We'd like to welcome you to our school. So this is our cafeteria. We have 2 serving lines. And you'll come through, grab your lunch, and then choose a spot to sit. This is our main hallway. It leads right off from the cafeteria. And it leads to all of the classrooms, and it will have our library, music, and art classes are in this hallway as well. So this is our music room. It probably looks similar to your music room. Mrs. Kirksell is our music teacher. So here's our library. Again, it's very similar to the library you're used to. Mrs. Roth and Mrs. Dawson are our school librarians. And this is our art room. Mr. Hall is our art teacher. So here is where we have our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade GALES classrooms. So this is our playground. We do have a field area that you can't see, but this is where you'll spend recess, and as a grade level, you will be out here. So all 3rd graders play together, all 4th graders have a separate time, and all 5th graders have a separate time.
Okay, so thank you to the Lancaster High School Broadcasting Department and Mrs. Woods and Mrs. Thomas, or Mr. Thomas, sorry, for putting that video together for us. Our GALES classroom is a little bit different than other classrooms, and that's our goal. So we have just a goal today to unify our GALES community of parents, students, and educators, and that's why we're together this evening. Who will be working with your child? We have Mrs. Woods is on the call today. Dr. Sheets is also on our Zoom meeting here. He's the director of elementary. I'm Ashley Jones, gifted coordinator, and then I'm going to let the teachers introduce themselves. Mrs. Sines, do you want to start?
Yeah, I had to find my unmute. It's nice. I haven't had to do a Zoom for a while. Hi, I'm Mrs. Sines, and I love seeing all the new little faces. Hi, everybody. I know this is a little nervous, isn't it, getting to see everybody, but a little bit about me. This is my 7th year with GALES in the all day, everyday program. The last 4, I've been a 3rd grade teacher. And before that, I had the privilege of also teaching 4th and 5th grade GALES. Prior to GALES, I taught in the regular ed classroom for 20 years. Yeah, if you can do that math, I've taught for 27 years, which is crazy. I've taught everything from 2nd grade all the way up through 6th, all different content areas and in 3 different districts. So I've done quite a few things. Family-wise, this is a big year. It's our 25-year anniversary this year. My husband and I, his name is Ed. I have 2 boys, men, I guess I should say, they're adults. I have a 21-year-old son that's a senior now, engineering major at Ohio University. And our other son is a sophomore now, and he goes to Eastern Michigan studying exercise science, wants to be a physical therapist, and he plays baseball. So he's our one that's currently still active in sports. So that's a little bit about me.
Mrs. Greiner?
Hello, I'm Mrs. Greiner. I currently teach the 4th and 5th grade GALES. I've been with the GALES program now for, I think we calculated 6 years. Prior to teaching GALES, I taught 15 years in the regular ed class. I've taught 4th through 6th grade, and I've taught all subjects, but now I have specialized in math and science for so many years that I'm afraid I'm probably stuck there for the rest of my career, which is fine. I love it. I'm married also. My husband and I have been married for 16 years. We have 3 children. Our oldest is a digital media and animation major at OU. Our middle daughter is in high school at LHS. She's a gymnast. And our youngest is in 7th grade at Ewing, and he's also a baseball player who very much so looks up to Evan Signs as a role model. I think that's pretty much it about me.
Okay, hello, good evening. I'm Tanya Clark Kopp, and I have been teaching in the GALES program for 6 years now, same as Mrs. Greiner. We started together. I teach 4th and 5th ELA and social studies. Before that, for 15 years, I taught 4th grade. I have 2 kiddos at my house, and one is an 11th grader, and he's in the criminal science and forensics program. And he works at AHA Children's Museum. And then I have a 6th grader. She is a soccer player and also runs her own business and has her own Etsy page and everything. So she likes to be crafty. I'm an OU grad, and I also have a couple furry children too. A giant dog, German Shepherd named Jasper, and I have a deaf dog named Luna, and she knows sign. So it's nice to see everybody.
All right, thank you guys. Anything to add, anybody? Mrs. Woods or Mr. Sheets? Yeah, on the spot. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to the presentation here. So we have a great team, obviously, that's evident, who'll be working with your child the next 3 years. They've introduced themselves. Here's a little bit of a video where you can get the student's perspective.
I like being in the GALES program because in most classes you work at a slower pace than you usually would, and you get challenged more and you get to work more independently.
When I was in, kindergarten through 3rd, we worked at everybody else's pace, but I was a fast reader and I got through the work quickly, so I just kind of had extra time to read.
You get people who want, they want to learn.
I like being challenged because it gets you more ready for junior high since you kind of have mostly the same teacher for 2-3 years, you kind of become as a family, and it's easier to ask them if they could help you or you could help them with something.
I mean, there's something in everyone that you can like about them, and it's a good class.
It's really amazing, and we're all kind of weird in our own ways, but nobody judges you because of it. They just learn to love you and accept you as you are.
We all know each other very well, and we're all either good friends or really good friends. So when someone says something, we all end up laughing or something.
It just gives me a better chance to get into honors, which would give me a better chance to get into honors in high school, better college, better job, better life.
Don't be nervous about it. You know, think it over, but it's worth it.
That video just does not get old to me. I love hearing it from the mouths of the students, and that was actually recorded when we didn't have a third grade GALES yet. So you heard that mentioned, in K3, she maybe was one of the fastest workers in her class, but now we have the third grade GALES we're excited about. So next, how did my child qualify? So all the students here in this Zoom meeting have met automatic qualification, the majority with a gifted math and reading identification. And that's purposeful because how we present the curriculum and how these teachers can focus on those high ability learners in both reading and math is important for the program. So the big picture, the GALES program's different, and a big part of that is the fact that our kids go through 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade now, and these teachers are able to do things that because of the transition from 3, 4, 5 that they couldn't do outside of the GALES program within the regular ed classroom. So there are many differences that you're going to notice as a result of this differentiation that the teachers can accomplish in the GALES program. The curriculum will be focused on content with academic rigor and complexity. Students will have access to materials designed or modified specifically for gifted students, and teachers will compact the curriculum as students master their grade level standards. This allows teachers to appropriately pace the instruction and avoid reviewing too much of the material that students might already know. We use curriculums such as Michael Clay Thompson, the College of William and Mary, and then compacting is documenting mastery of the standards and then adjusting the pace to better meet the students' needs. And we can do that with the students who are invited into the GALES program. Another aspect that usually we get a lot of questions about is about the grading, any differences with grading and assessment. So your child will be challenged and their scores will reflect, the gifted curriculum, the rigor and the pace that they need, but they may not be used to right away. Mrs. Sines does a great job in our 3rd grade of easing them into to this transition. And so they get all the adjustments out, in the first semester of 3rd grade before she can really focus more on maybe a modified and gifted curriculum for that 2nd semester. As students continue through the program, especially in 4th and 5th grade, they have project-based assessments. It requires a little bit more of self-directed learners. They're developing their organizational skills and time management strategies. This is really what they need at this age, and it adds to the challenge that we are excited about them having in elementary school rather than down the road. As educators and parents, we will need a strong partnership in helping students adjust their expectations because their classwork and grades will reflect a greater complexity and depth of knowledge. We want to instill a growth mindset and really promote hard work and working through challenges. Gifted students need to be challenged in elementary school so that they can learn how to work through it and not give up. So with all that being said, every now and then, in rare occasions, we do have families who maybe decide that this placement isn't what's best for them. And so we always sit down, have a meeting, and certainly honor the parents, whatever the parent wants in the situation. And if that means going back to a home building, that's always a possibility. Our last slide is just really about, there's resources here. We encourage you to look into the Ohio Association of Gifted Children for any parent resources that you might be interested in. We attend the annual fall conference, so that they have a parent day embedded in that. That's scheduled for August 17th of this year. I do believe at this point that it will be in person. They might have kind of a virtual option in regards to that as well. And Mrs. Sines, who will be sharing lots of information down the road with you, has a GALES parent website as well that I can link or provide the link for you guys. So kind of a short and sweet presentation here, but we just want to open it to any questions that you might have or comments. If you want, feel free from parents or students. I see all the students out there. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute and ask away. I'm really good with wait time. And Mrs. Clark Cup has utilized the chat to inform you. If you'd rather type a question, you're welcome to.
Teacher. What are the name of my teachers? Gym teacher. She would like to know who her gym teacher is. She's very excited that she's already had Mr. Hall in for art and that she knows Mrs. Roth from the library. But Azalea would really like to know who the gym teacher is.
Mrs. Young.
Mrs. Arcus? I believe you had Mrs. Arcus in kindergarten.
Yance.
Mount Pleasant too, right? Yeah, you had her in kindergarten.
All right. Good question, Azalea. Thank you. Anyone else questions about the building? You could ask Mrs. Sines her favorite color. I don't know.
I promise I don't bite, so feel free to ask a question. Anything. Well, within reason, right? I see a couple of you waiting to ask. It's okay, go ahead. If you were here, I would be able to walk you into the room, but you know, you might have heard of this thing called COVID. It kind of happened. So hopefully we don't have to do Zoom and do all this next year, right? You guys can just come in and we can start the year off having fun.
And can you just talk maybe a little bit, Mrs. Sines, about like how you communicate with the families? I think Class Dojo is a big component.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a big one. In fact, I see Noah and Mrs. Witt are there. Noah's in our class right now. Is that Herman? Is that our Cowboys fan? Yeah, right there. He doesn't like the Cowboys, but I like to tease him that he does. Yeah. So yeah, today, gosh, I think I posted 2 videos of the kids working, doing buddy work. They're working on a public service announcement, and I use it tremendous, probably mostly, it'll be an exciting thing for you to have a window into the classroom. I think you'll feel very connected with what the kids do every day. I also work really hard to be quick in responding to you. If you have any questions throughout the day, this is a big deal. making the decision to come to Gales. And we recognize that you guys are young and it's a big decision to leave your home school. So I just want to assure you, and I say it every year, that I'm going to love your children like they're my own. And the way that we start our year is we ease into it. The beginning of our year, just kind of the first 9 weeks, we just really work on the social emotional of transitioning to a new building, new peers, new teachers. There's a lot of new that goes on. So we just really do third grade curriculum at the beginning. So they don't have to be worried about things being extra hard and I'm in Gales now. And I really try to keep a pulse on that with them. So I think that's important as a parent for you to be aware of that. And then as they're ready, they'll tell me, and we start to increase rigor and start to increase the pace of things. But again, Sarah's there. I think she could validate that keeping a pulse. Sometimes we go too fast and I have to pull back, and I'm very honest and transparent with the kids. They know that, like, okay, that was too much. We're gonna step away from that and we're gonna adjust. So that's really important. I think that's a nice thing as a parent to be aware that that's how the classroom operates. It's very much like a nurturing home environment as far as that goes. So the second half of the year, we then transition into our gifted curriculum. And then by that point, they're ready, they're independent, and we really have that basis. The beauty is, having taught 4th and 5th grade Gales, I know what they need in order to be there. So Tanya and Angie and I worked really hard to make sure that I'm preparing them with the skills they need so that when they start 4th and move, they just fly. So they don't have to worry about adjusting anymore because they're part of the family and they're ready to go. So I think that's important for you to understand, that they're not going to come in and just hit a wall right away. Like, that's not going to, we'll make sure of that. We'll adjust things and make sure that we're used to me. Kind of crazy. Just saying. Right, Noah? As he runs away. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I had a question. My son Wyatt, he's going to be coming in for the 3rd grade. So we're finishing up 2nd grade. Obviously, it's been crazy different year and things like that. So we just went back full time. My question, and you kind of touched on it already, but for how things are designed, I know in some classes, or the class he's in now, they all work kind of at the same pace. So he finds himself, he's done way early, he can't move ahead, things like that. So I think at some points it's a little frustrating for him, just because he's like, he's ready to go, he understands. So we're really excited that he's in this program. So my question is, are things kind of geared toward each child and where they are academically, or we kind of do it all as the same group where they're at?
I think that's a very valid and fair question. I would say, in the way that we're structured, we have a curriculum. So if you're asking, like, will he have a different set of curriculum? I would say no. However, the pace that he works and the individual in here, they are going to be your son will be given many opportunities to do his own pathway as far as that goes. Angie and Tanya, you can pipe in too on that, but no, again, we have a student that's currently in here. They work at their own pace. We have goals that we get to, and the kids work and they're independent. It's pretty amazing, to be honest, because that's how they flourish. That's what they need. They need choice. They need opportunities to make decisions, but also within a structure and a boundary. So I think that's important as well. So I hope that answers your question. I'll mute so they can talk, because I'll talk for a long time.
Thank you so much.
I was just going to say there's probably a good mixture of both, where, we do have a curriculum we're responsible for, but we attack it in a different way. And there's a lot of independent opportunities and learning opportunities and projects, and there's always something more. So it's not going to be there's not going to be occasion where he's going to be sitting and waiting and sitting and waiting, because he'll find that he's quite busy.
That was a big thing. I think they'll get papers and he's kind of done with them. You know, he oftentimes unless something is needed online, he doesn't really come home with homework and stuff. So I think that was it's been a big thing for him, is he's just, it's almost like he just gets complacent with it and he's just ready. He wants more work, and really we can't do that right now. And so that's why I explained to him, I'm like, well, with this program, you know, maybe you have the option to do that. So
Yeah, thank you for advocating too and trying to describe this a little bit, because one of the things, like the students who love reading, I think you'll find that you're probably gonna read a little bit more at home. It's one of the habits that it's a great hobby. It's wonderful. We encourage that, obviously, but there's not as much time within the classroom when students, I know within the general ed setting, when we have students who really need something different, and all of you are in this room right here with us, when you need something so different, we need a different program to meet your needs, and that's what this is. And so in the general ed, a lot of times these are the students who you said are doing the papers, getting them finished, and then they're silent reading. That will not happen as much in the GALES program. So some of the kids might come home wanting to read more because they haven't read as much at school as maybe they're used to. And it's certainly not where we want to push more and more and more at them all the time. And, you know, it's not like giving them 3 math worksheets instead of 1. It's about really doing things differently.
Mrs. Sines, can you tell us a little bit about maybe what homework would look like for 3rd grade?
I'm sorry, what homework would look like?
Yeah, like what would your homework expectations be?
I'm going to be honest with you right now. My brain is a little COVID fried from the standpoint, like we are not doing any homework right now because we transitioned. I felt like this year, previously we do. Honestly, my brain's kind of fried. I can't remember what we did before. That's not awful.
I completely
can you guys help me out? I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but
well, I know in 4th and 5th, I know in 5th that there's a regular schedule of math that Mrs. Greiner does. And I know that we have a lot of our students work through independent reading goals and genre goals and things like that. And that sometimes is pushed more to the homework setting because they're really busy exploring and researching and working on projects during the day. And reading whatever we are reading as a class or in small groups. There's once you work up a little higher, as it like in 4th grade, you'll have Caesar's English, which is a lot of studying at home, but it's more studying and reading. And there's a scheduled, I don't know how to put that, Mrs. Greiner, like a scheduled tasks for math each night, Monday through Thursday.
Well, prior to this year, they had a packet they would do that they had some problem-solving problems that were pretty high level. And I had several parents who even said, wow, I can't figure this one out. But the idea is to teach the kids how to attack problems when they are a little bit more challenging. And then they had skill practice as well. This year, with things crazy like they were, we use Zern as our homework practice. So I would teach in the classroom and then they would go home and do the lesson to review it, which was nice because that meant that they got that extra practice with it at home. And then I could easily track that they were doing the work at home, but it wasn't something new that they wouldn't understand. So I imagine if next year is more normal, you'll see some of that problem solving because it's really good. And I love to challenge the kids with it. They learn that even though something sounds like they can't do it, they have more skills than they realize, and they can attack something that looks almost impossible. And then we'll probably still do some sort of digital practice at home of what we're learning in class. That way you can see what they're learning and you can help them if they look like they're still struggling a little bit, and let me know if you see something I'm missing. So that's kind of how homework works with me. And then as far as science goes, anything we are learning in class, I tend to do in class. So if we have reading to do or whatever, we're going to do that in class. But we do a lot of hands-on labs and projects. And if there are pieces that they need to maybe finish up because they didn't have enough time in class, then you might see some of that come home.
Thank you so much. That was very helpful from a parent perspective.
I see a hand up over there. What's your question, little guy?
So I have a question. So we actually assign homework. Is that going to be counterproductive to what you guys do?
That's a good question. I think that, I mean, being the third grade teacher, I would say we need to just make sure and watch him, you know, monitor how he's responding. Because I can tell you he's going to be in an environment where he's surrounded by like peers. And that alone is going to challenge his thinking. And the day we do a lot of, without even knowing, it's a very natural environment of learning and pursuing and uncovering and doing things throughout the day. You know, if you have routines that work, I would say, I mean, we can keep in close contact.
Okay.
Is what I guess I would say, just to make sure, only because I wouldn't want him to. What is your name, buddy? What is your name?
Tell her name.
Winston.
Winston?
Yep.
Okay, Winston. Yeah. Like we want Winston to like have brain juice the next day. That's
Right.
my biggest thing, because I
Right.
like to make sure you spill the brain juice all over the classroom. So
And to this point, we've had to keep him challenged. So that's
Sure.
why we did it. So I just
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
And again, that goes back to me keeping a pulse. That's where I think Ashley mentioned it's that partnership. And this is the year that I think it's fundamental for us to make sure that we're all on the same page. It's a transition for you guys too, right?
It
As
is,
parents,
yeah.
getting used to like, what is this? Is this scary? I don't think any of us are very scary, but the program itself initially can be, you know, bigger than life in that sense, you know, like what are we
Especially
doing?
this year
Yep.
with not being in school. So yeah, it's going to be
Exactly.
huge.
Well,
So
I couldn't even answer what I do for homework. What does that tell you? I'm like, I don't even know. I'm to the point where I don't even know what we used to do, because we've done 85 different things this year.
Right.
So, so yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That's a good question too. And whatever bless you for doing homework at home. Like I'm impressed, like assigning homework. I'm impressed by that. I just try to keep up with my kids and everything that's going on. But I can tell you for sure that just from an outside perspective into the GALES classrooms, that one thing that they do very well is communicate with parents about what's going on in the classroom. So you never have to hesitate about asking a question, sending a dojo message. I don't know does Winston's current teacher, do they use dojo at all? Or like, because I'm saying that and you might not know what it is.
Yeah, we used Dojo when he was before COVID hit, and he was up at Gorsuch. They used Dojo, but he's in Talmadge now, and they don't.
This time. What was it this time?
It was with mine, but after my teacher had baby, yeah, we kind of had to quit that.
I had to quit that. That happens. Okay, so yeah, you're familiar with that. That will be a really nice piece of communication for you guys between home and school, for sure. Another thing, as I'm thinking about that, Jennifer, they may want to go ahead, if you guys are not signed up for like the Medaille Listserv, that might be something you want to do this summer or going into next year. It might help you, again, just feel connected to the building and make sure you're getting that information flow from the building as well. Are there any other questions? Does anyone else want to ask a question?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't put the video on.
One.
I just want to thank all of you for taking the time tonight. It's exciting for me to see all of the new faces. I know this isn't our whole class. There will be more. There will be more. But we're in the process of figuring out who the others will be. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing you all in person, seeing how tall you are and how fast you are at recess and, you know, learning all about you. So I might even race a few of you. I'm pretty fast. So I'm just telling
Yes.
you.
Just don't hurt yourself, Mrs. Signs.
I know I might pull a hamstring. I am
We
getting
need
older.
And then Mrs. Woods, I know if there is a fall open house, will they hear about that through the channels or?
Yeah, we will send out emails, Facebook. It'll be posted on the district website as well.
Okay, great. Do you have a question, Sarah?
I just have to say that we have an older son in Mrs. Science class this year, and we are beyond pleased and impressed with how far he's come this year. And her communication has been amazing, even throughout the blended model. And I mean, it really is very impressive how far they come and the responsibilities and independence that they gain. So thank you so much. We're so excited about having another kid with her next year. So we won't have to miss her too much. And we're looking forward to another year of her. So thank you, Mrs. Signs. We love you.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, love you guys too. Except for that Steelers thing. We got to work on that.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. And feel free to contact us if you have any questions beforehand. Otherwise, keep an eye out for a fall open house announcement through the district. All right. Have a good evening.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, thank you.